When I think of Iran, I see a land that holds beauty in layers, where every corner whispers stories of nature, history, and tradition. Iran is not only a country of rich culture and deep heritage, but also one of majestic landscapes and hidden gems waiting to be discovered. The deserts, the mountains, the forests, and the sparkling waters come together like a painting so vivid that it feels alive. Imagine standing before the mighty Alborz Mountains, their peaks dusted with snow, touching the clouds like a crown on the land. They are not just mountains, but guardians of valleys and villages below, where life continues in harmony with nature. In the south, the Zagros Range stretches with dramatic cliffs and wild beauty, offering a different rhythm of life where nature speaks in silence. These mountains are not only a backdrop, but also a home to people whose traditions are as timeless as the stones beneath their feet. Then comes the wonder of deserts. The Lut Desert, with its sculpted sand formations and endless horizons, feels like a doorway to another world. The way the wind carves shapes into the earth, creating castles of sand and waves of dunes, makes it one of the most surreal landscapes on our planet. At sunset, when the golden rays strike the dunes, the desert becomes a glowing sea of fire, and at night the sky unfolds in endless constellations, untouched by city lights, reminding us of the universe's vastness. But Iran is not only deserts and mountains, it is also full of green wonders. In the north, the Caspian Sea embraces lush forests and rolling hills, where the air is heavy with the scent of rain and earth. The Hyrcanian forests, so ancient and mysterious, are like a treasured chest of biodiversity, home to rare species and breathtaking beauty. Walking through them feels like stepping into a fairy tale where mist lingers among the trees and every leaf holds the memory of centuries. Beyond nature's stage, Iran's hidden gems shine in unexpected places. Imagine wandering into a small village where homes are carved into the mountainside, like in Damavand, where life blends with the rocks. Or standing before colorful salt lakes, their pink waters shimmering under the sun, creating a mirror that reflects both sky and soul. Even in the heart of deserts, there are gardens, springs, and its underground water channels built centuries ago, showing how human creativity and nature's gifts live side by side. And then there are the cultural landscapes where hidden gems are not just found in nature, but also in cities, bazaars, and caravanserais along the Silk Road. A hidden courtyard filled with roses, a tiled dome glowing in the sunlight, or the delicate sound of a santoor drifting in the air, these moments make Iran a place of both wonder and warmth. Every part of Iran reveals another side of its majestic beauty. Some landscapes are bold and dramatic, commanding awe with their size and grandeur, while others are quiet and secret, discovered only by those willing to wander off the beaten path. Together, they create a country of contrasts where deserts meet forests, where mountains meet seas, and where every hidden gem tells a story of resilience, harmony, and grace. Standing before the Alborz and Zagros ranges, one cannot help but feel their presence as if they are ancient guardians, rising to the sky, shaping not only the landscape of Iran, but also the rhythm of life that flows around them. The Alborz Mountains, stretching across the northern edge of the country, stand tall with snow-covered peaks glistening under the sun, forming a striking barrier between the Caspian Sea and the vast plateau. In winter, their slopes turn into a playground of white, where villages are nestled at their feet, alive with warmth despite the chill. The winding roads leading into the heart of the Alborz reveal valleys where orchards bloom in spring, painting the land with colors of apricot, cherry, and pomegranate, making the mountains feel like a canvas of changing seasons. In the quiet of dawn, when the mist still hovers over the peaks, it feels as though the mountains are breathing slowly, watching over the land with patience that only millennia can hold. The Zagros Range, extending like a spine across western Iran, offers a completely different character. These mountains are rugged, dramatic, and alive with deep canyons, rolling pastures, and oak forests that whisper in the breeze. They are home to nomadic tribes who still move with the seasons, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of the earth, their herds grazing on the slopes, their traditions as enduring as the mountains themselves. The Zagros is a place where human history and natural majesty meet, where ancient civilizations once flourished, leaving behind echoes in stone carvings and ruins hidden among valleys. Standing among these mountains, one feels a sense of timelessness, as if every rock and every path has witnessed countless generations passing by, each leaving a trace and yet never altering the eternal essence of the peaks. Both ranges are more than geological wonders. They are lifelines, shaping rivers and climates, providing water and shelter, and guarding biodiversity that makes Iran's landscapes so diverse. The snow that crowns the Alborz in winter melts into streams that nourish orchards and fields, while the Zagros feeds great rivers like the Karan, lifelines for cities and farmlands. Their slopes host wildlife from leopards to wild goats, from rare birds to ancient forests, each living in harmony within the embrace of these towering guardians. They create climates that allow rice fields and tea plantations in the north, wheat and barley fields in the west, and orchards that bloom even in high altitudes. These mountains are not barriers but bridges between people, cultures, and nature, weaving a fabric that holds together the soul of Iran. For travelers, the Alborz and Zagros are paths to discovery, offering trails that wind through villages where mud, brick homes cling to steep hillsides, where laughter echoes from children running through narrow alleys, and where the scent of bread baking in clay ovens drifts through the air. In the Alborz, one can climb to the summit of Mount Damavand, the highest peak in Iran, a dormant volcano wrapped in legends, revered in Persian mythology as a symbol of strength and endurance. Reaching even partway to its summit, the view unfolds like a tapestry of valleys, forests, and distant plains, revealing the grandeur of the land. In the Zagros, treks lead to waterfalls hidden in gorges, to oak-covered hills that stretch endlessly, to plateaus where spring brings carpets of wildflowers under skies so vast they seem to have no end. The mountains are also a place of retreat, where silence speaks more than words, and where the heart finds peace in the stillness. Villages like Masuleh, built into the mountainside of the Alborz, create a vision where rooftops become pathways, blending architecture with the terrain in perfect harmony. In the Zagros, the hospitality of nomads welcomes travelers into black tents woven from goat hair, offering simple meals cooked over open fires, stories told under starlit skies, and songs that echo the spirit of the land. These human connections woven into the landscape make the mountains not just majestic in their physical form, but also in the warmth they inspire, the traditions they preserve, and the lives they nurture. The Alborz and Zagros stand as two immense chapters in the story of Iran, distinct yet connected, each carrying beauty that is both seen and felt. They shape the seasons, they hold history within their valleys, they nurture life in their shadows, and they remind anyone who gazes upon them of the strength and resilience of nature itself. They are the guardians of the land, silent yet powerful, timeless yet ever-changing, watching over Iran with a majesty that is impossible to forget. The Lut Desert stretches like an endless ocean of sand, a place where the earth seems to have sculpted itself into a masterpiece of surreal beauty and untamed wonder. It is one of the hottest places on earth, yet despite the intensity of its climate, it holds a silent majesty that draws the imagination into its vastness. The desert is filled with towering sand dunes, some of the highest in the world, rising and falling like waves frozen in time. When the wind blows across them, it reshapes their curves, creating patterns that change with every season, as though the desert is always painting and repainting its own story. Walking across its surface, the crunch of salt beneath your feet and the warm breath of the wind across your skin make you feel both small and deeply connected to something ancient. One of the most fascinating features of the Lut Desert is its yardangs, those natural sculptures carved by centuries of wind erosion. They stand like castles of stone and clay, stretching into the horizon in a landscape so strange and otherworldly that it feels like stepping onto another planet. These towering formations, glowing in shades of gold, orange, and red under the sun, rise sharply from the flat desert floor, their shadows creating dramatic contrasts in the ever-shifting light. In the quiet of the early morning, they look soft and mystical, while at midday they blaze like fire against the cloudless sky. As the sun begins to sink, their edges soften once again, and the desert becomes a gallery of silhouettes, each formation standing as if frozen in a timeless dance. The Lut Desert is not lifeless, although at first glance it may appear so. Beneath its seemingly barren surface lie stories of survival and adaptation. Small hardy plants cling to life in cracks and edges where moisture collects, while certain insects and reptiles have found ways to endure the extremes, moving with the rhythms of night and day. Even the silence of the desert carries life, a reminder of the resilience hidden in places where survival seems impossible. The shifting sands, the salt plains, and the hidden oases remind us that the desert, though harsh, is also a cradle of life in its own unique form. One of the most breathtaking experiences in the Lut is watching the sun set over the dunes. The colors of the desert transform from bright gold to deep amber, then to soft pinks and purples as the sky darkens. The dunes glow as if lit from within, creating a scene so magical that it feels like time has stopped. And when night finally arrives, the true wonder of the Lut reveals itself. With no cities nearby, the desert sky is a blanket of stars, dazzling in their clarity, stretching endlessly above. The Milky Way spills across the heavens, a reminder of the universe's vastness mirrored by the endlessness of the desert below. It is a place where earth and sky meet in perfect silence, leaving anyone who stands beneath that canopy of stars in awe of the beauty around them. The desert also holds vast salt plains, flat expanses that shimmer like glass under the sun. These plains reflect the light so brightly that it feels like walking on a mirror, blending sky and earth into one. In certain areas, colorful salt formations create mosaics across the land, the pinks and whites blending into the golden sands, forming an ever-changing masterpiece of natural design. These places are not only visually stunning, but also carry within them the geological history of the land, telling stories written in stone, sand, and salt. For travelers who venture into the Lut, the experience is both humbling and unforgettable. Riding across the dunes, trekking through valleys of sand, or simply sitting in silence while the wind whistles through the yardangs, one cannot help but feel the desert's power. It is not a place of comfort, but of beauty in its rawest form, a reminder of the planet's strength and creativity. The Lut Desert is not only one of Iran's greatest natural wonders, but also one of the world's most extraordinary landscapes, a hidden gem that reveals the artistry of nature in shapes and colors that no hand could ever create. In the north of Iran, where the Caspian Sea meets the land, there lies a region of lush greenery and ancient forests that feels like a world apart from the arid deserts and rugged mountains of the interior. The air here is heavy with moisture, carrying the scent of soil, rain, and growing things, a fragrance that immediately fills the heart with calm. Rolling hills blanketed in rice fields, tea plantations, and orchards spread out across the landscape, their vibrant green hues shifting with the sunlight as clouds drift lazily across the sky. The Caspian shoreline itself is dotted with villages and towns, where life moves at a gentler pace, shaped by the rhythm of waves and the abundance of the land. It is a place where the horizon is softened by mist, and the sea stretches endlessly, its waters changing color with the mood of the weather, from brilliant turquoise under the summer sun to deep silver on cloudy days. Among the most treasured wonders of this region are the Hyrcanian forests, an ancient expanse that has stood for millions of years, making them older than most human civilizations. These forests are not just a collection of trees, but a living museum of biodiversity, where each plant and creature plays a role in a delicate balance that has endured since prehistoric times. Towering beech trees, chestnuts, and oaks create a dense canopy overhead, their branches forming a green cathedral through which sunlight filters in gentle rays. The forest floor is alive with ferns, mosses, and wildflowers, while streams weave their way through the undergrowth, their clear waters glistening like ribbons of silver. Walking through these woods feels like entering a secret world, where every step is cushioned by fallen leaves, and every turn reveals a new wonder, whether it is a hidden clearing, a sudden cascade of water, or the call of a bird unseen in the foliage. The richness of life in the Hyrcanian forests is astonishing. Many species that dwell here are found nowhere else on Earth, making it a place of rare ecological importance. Leopards still roam these woods, elusive and graceful, while wild boars, deer, and countless birds find shelter in the dense greenery. Butterflies dance in the shafts of sunlight, their wings adding flashes of color to the endless green, while night brings the soft chorus of crickets and owls. These forests are not only habitats but sanctuaries, places where the natural world continues in its ancient rhythm, largely untouched by the march of time. To stand among these trees is to feel the continuity of life, a reminder of how deeply the earth has preserved its secrets within the shelter of these timeless woods. The Caspian coast and the Hyrcanian forests are also intertwined with human life, offering sustenance and inspiration to generations who have lived in their embrace. Villages nestled among the hills are surrounded by terraced rice paddies that shimmer with water during planting season and glow golden at harvest. Tea plantations stretch across the slopes, their neat rows of bushes forming patterns that are as beautiful as they are practical, producing the leaves that will fill steaming cups across the country. Orchards of citrus, kiwi, and pomegranate flourish in the mild climate, their blossoms filling the air with fragrance in spring. Markets in the coastal towns are filled with the abundance of the land, from fresh herbs and honey to dried fish and handmade sweets, each product carrying the taste of the region's fertile soul. Life here has always been deeply connected to the sea as well. The Caspian's waters provide fish that sustain families and traditions, while its shifting tides shape the rhythm of daily life. Fishing boats painted in bright colors can be seen along the shores, their nets cast out with the rising sun, returning with catches that are both sustenance and livelihood. In the evenings, the sea becomes a place of gathering, where families walk along the sand, children play at the water's edge, and the sky reflects on the waves as day slowly gives way to night. In addition to natural beauty, this region carries a deep cultural richness. Traditional wooden houses with sloping roofs to withstand the heavy rains stand proudly in villages, often painted in cheerful colors that brighten the misty mornings. The people here are known for their warmth and hospitality, offering travelers not just food and shelter, but also stories, songs, and laughter that echo the generosity of the land itself. The forests and the sea are more than just landscapes. They are part of the identity of the people, woven into their festivals, their cuisine, and their everyday life. The lush greenery of the Caspian region and the timeless Hyrcanian forests together create an image of Iran that surprises many who only imagine deserts and dry plains. They are reminders of the country's incredible diversity, where mountains, seas, forests, and fields all coexist within one land. They are places of life, beauty, and memory, landscapes that breathe with vitality and hold within them the stories of both nature and humanity intertwined across the ages. Among the wonders of Iran are its hidden gems that reveal themselves in quiet corners, away from the grandeur of mountains and the vastness of deserts, in places where human life and nature intertwine in ways that are both extraordinary and unexpected. Kandavan is one such marvel, a village that seems as though it has grown directly out of the earth itself. Its homes are not built in the conventional sense but carved into volcanic rock, their pointed shapes resembling a cluster of beehives clinging to the mountainside. Families live within these stone dwellings, their interiors cool in summer and warm in winter, a natural architecture that has endured for centuries. Walking through the narrow lanes of Kandavan, the sight of doors set into rock, windows opening out onto the valley, and smoke rising gently from chimneys creates the impression of stepping into a living fairy tale, where the boundary between human creation and natural formation has all but disappeared. Equally mesmerizing are Iran's salt lakes, shimmering expanses that reflect the sky in shades of white, pink, and blue. One of the most enchanting is Lake Urmia, once one of the largest saltwater lakes in the world. Even as it faces the challenges of changing climate and water levels, it still reveals breathtaking scenes where the water glows with a pink hue caused by microorganisms that thrive in its salty depths. Standing at its shores, the lake stretches like an endless mirror, reflecting clouds and light, creating illusions where earth and sky seem to merge. Crystalline salt formations cover parts of the shoreline, glittering like jewels under the sun, their strange shapes adding to the otherworldly atmosphere. Smaller salt lakes scattered across the country with their pink or turquoise waters offer moments of surprise in otherwise dry and arid landscapes, like hidden jewels catching the light of the desert sun. The ingenuity of ancient people can also be seen in the qanats, underground water channels that were once the lifelines of Iran's villages and cities. These structures, created thousands of years ago, carry water from mountain aquifers through a system of tunnels that run beneath the ground, emerging in places where it can be used for farming, drinking, and sustaining life in the harsh climate. The brilliance of the qanats lies in their ability to deliver water without evaporation, conserving every drop in a land where it is precious. Even today, some of these qanats still flow, a testament to the skill and vision of those who built them. Walking near their outlets, one can hear the soft sound of water running beneath the earth, a hidden stream that gives life to gardens, orchards, and fields in places where no river is visible. These hidden gems are more than natural or architectural curiosities. They carry within them the stories of resilience and harmony between people and their environment. In Kandavan, life inside rock homes is not only a practical solution to the harsh climate, but also a cultural heritage that binds generations to their land. In the salt lakes, nature reveals its artistry, painting landscapes that change with light, season, and time, offering beauty even in the most inhospitable conditions. In the qanats, the wisdom of ancient engineers shows how necessity gave birth to systems that sustained civilizations for centuries, shaping the growth of towns and the survival of countless communities. Each of these treasures offers a different face of Iran's identity. They are not grand monuments that demand attention, but subtle wonders that reveal themselves to those who are willing to look more closely. They lie hidden in valleys, on plains, in remote villages, and beneath the earth, waiting to be discovered by those who seek something beyond the obvious. Together, they create a mosaic of beauty and ingenuity, where every element tells a story of adaptation, survival, and quiet brilliance. The hidden gems of Iran remind us that majesty does not always come in vast mountains or mighty seas, but also in the small details, in the unexpected corners, and in the gentle ways that human life and nature have shaped one another through time in the heart of Iran. The cultural landscapes unfold like a tapestry woven with history, artistry, and daily life, each thread carrying the essence of a civilization that has thrived for centuries. The bazaars, with their labyrinthine corridors, domed ceilings, and vibrant stalls, are more than marketplaces. They are living museums where tradition and livelihood blend seamlessly. Walking through a bazaar, one is greeted by the scent of spices that fill the air, from saffron and cinnamon to dried rose petals, each fragrance mingling into a melody of aromas. Stalls overflow with hand-woven carpets, each knot tied with patience and skill, patterns passed down through generations telling stories of villages, seasons, and beliefs. Shimmering copper, where catches the light, ceramics painted in turquoise and cobalt recall the colors of the sky, and fabrics dyed in deep hues sway gently as if whispering their secrets. The sound of shopkeepers calling out, bargaining with customers, and the soft rhythm of footsteps on ancient stone floors creates an atmosphere that feels both timeless and alive. Caravanserais scattered along the old Silk Road are another gem of Iran's cultural landscape, remnants of a time when traders and travelers crossed deserts and mountains, carrying goods, stories, and traditions with them. These caravanserais, built with stone and brick, were sanctuaries in the midst of vast journeys, their courtyards offering shelter to camels, horses, and weary travelers. Some remain standing in splendid condition, their grand arches and intricate tilework reflecting the architectural genius of their time. To step into one of these spaces today is to step into the footsteps of countless souls who passed before, to feel the echo of wheels and hooves, to imagine the exchange of silks, spices, and tales from distant lands. The caravanserais are more than ruins. They are bridges between cultures, reminders of how Iran was once a heart of connection between East and West. In cities and towns, hidden courtyards add another layer of charm to the cultural landscape. Behind wooden doors, plain and modest from the outside, lie gardens that bloom with roses, jasmine, and orange blossoms, their fragrance filling the shaded air. Pools of water reflect the sky, and the gentle sound of fountains creates a soothing rhythm that cools the heat of the day. These courtyards are places of rest and gathering, where families share meals, where laughter drifts through the air, and where traditions are passed on under the shelter of trees. The beauty of these spaces lies not in grandeur but in their intimacy, in the way they balance nature and architecture, creating a sanctuary within the bustle of urban life. The artistry of domes and tilework that crown mosques, shrines, and historical buildings adds yet another dimension to the cultural landscape. Domes that gleam in turquoise and sapphire rise into the sky, covered in patterns so intricate they seem almost infinite, each tile a piece of a greater vision. From a distance, they glow like jewels, symbols of faith and creativity, while up close, the detail of their geometry leaves one in awe of the precision and imagination of their makers. Light falls across these surfaces, shifting with the hours, so that the same dome looks different at sunrise, midday, and dusk, always revealing new shades and nuances. Inside, walls lined with calligraphy and arabesque designs invite contemplation, turning architecture into a form of poetry that can be both seen and felt. Beyond the physical structures, the cultural landscape carries intangible treasures too. The delicate sound of a santur or setar being played in a traditional courtyard creates an atmosphere where music becomes a language of the soul, each note echoing centuries of heritage. The storytelling of epic poems recited in gatherings breathes life into legends and history, carrying forward the voices of poets who shaped identity and imagination. In local kitchens, recipes prepared with herbs, fruits, and spices continue traditions that are as much about community as they are about flavor, reminding us how food binds families and memories together. What makes these cultural landscapes so extraordinary is the way they exist side by side with daily life. They are not frozen relics of the past, but living spaces where people still shop, trade, pray, gather, and celebrate. The bazaar is not only for visitors but for locals who rely on it as part of their daily rhythm. The caravanserai may no longer shelter caravans, but some now host travelers, artists, and performances, adapting to new purposes while carrying old echoes. The courtyards still ring with children's laughter, the domes still inspire awe, the music still drifts through the night, and the taste of traditional dishes still connects the present to the past. These cultural landscapes are alive, evolving with time yet holding on to their essence, offering glimpses into a way of life where art, history, and humanity flow together like threads of the same fabric.